For the first time in American history, a sitting speaker removed from his position. 8 Republicans joining all of the Democrats to make Kevin McCarthy the former Speaker of the House. Like I said, it's never been done before, never happened before, but it leaves a huge question mark of what happens next. Because the outstanding question is this. Now that a small group of grassroots Republicans have succeeded in dethroning the Republican Speaker, where do they go from here? And where are we headed as a country? First, let me say a couple of things about that. Number one, the 8 Republicans voting to remove McCarthy were right. We have an unsustainable financial path, and we have a massive debt. It increases all the time. And at some point, it will shadow this nation with a debt crisis if we don't correct it. I've heard my entire life that the people in Congress and in Washington would cut spending and keep things under control, and yet the debt and deficit continue to soar, continue to grow to heights never imagined. They continue to spend money they don't have and borrow to give it away, day after day, year after year. You've seen it, so have I. And honestly, there comes a day when it all comes to an end. When that day comes, I'm not sure. Other complaints were focused on the raging border crisis, huge amounts of money to Ukraine to support the American proxy war with Russia, and the attacks here at home on energy in this country, among other things. For now, North Carolina Congressman Patrick McHenry. He'll step in as the acting Speaker of the House, if you will, until a new person takes the gavel for the rest of the 118th Congress, but nobody seems to know who that is yet. Now, I can say this. Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan, they've thrown their hat in the ring. They might be there. But the question we'll answer first is, how did McHenry get here in the first place? Well, he was on a secret list that was required by House rules for McCarthy to provide for possible successors in the event he could not complete his tenure in the job, which is exactly what happened yesterday. Democrats, in the meantime, are celebrating the ouster of McCarthy, not because they really care one way or the other, but rather they're just cheering because it inflicts damage and embarrassment on the GOP and therefore on this country. And yes, it does both of those things because once again, it looks like the Republicans cannot govern. I mean, we still have Nancy Pelosi's budget. Doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. As for Matt Gaetz and his gang of 8 rebels, I'm not sure this will solve the problems they have been outlining because the clock is running currently on another debt ceiling deadline. I'm not sure we can get to that problem and get it solved in time. And with no speaker right now, seems to make the mountain a bit higher to climb. And it reminds me of a couple sayings. Number one, be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. And be careful when you trade the devil you know for the devil you don't. Will this be for the better or worse for Republicans, the House, and the country? Well, the truth is, nobody can say for sure not yet because we simply don't know. But I can tell you this, it is still possible for the underdog to take out Goliath. In this case, the establishment political class. And they can do it with a small group of determined people. I also have a warning for the Democrats who are celebrating. Don't celebrate too much. You may end up with a hangover. Right now, people are so disenchanted with Joe Biden and the whole Bidenomics scam, they're willing to vote for a tree stump with an R next to it to root out the socialists in our government. Keep that in mind.